So hi, first off, let's talk about the Philippine economy. For once, they're saying that we're actually doing great when actually we're not. I mean, yes, the percentage of poverty actually decreased for the past 10 years, but well, the absolute number of poverty is growing, sad to say. Okay, so we're claiming to be competitive in the global market when in fact we're not. I mean, yeah, we produce products, all kinds of products for industry, agriculture, but can we really compete against other countries? I mean, for a fact, uh, in agribusiness, Japan, China, they're better than us. That's evidently better than us. And industry, need I say more? We don't. We don't really specialize in particular in such field. We could though in agriculture. We could try, but are we really making the right effort? Maybe we're putting our money in a place where it shouldn't be. I mean, why the hell are we converting our lands when it's so perfect for when it's so perfect for agriculture? Why are we wasting it for industrialization wherein only the few business tycoons would benefit? So for me, I think we really need to think through our recent land conversions, and we really need to filter out our land grab. Because the concept of land grab is, well, basically it's not really that rare nowadays with the growing number of populations and the decreasing number of resources. We're just in a race, in a race on resource exhaustion. So plenty of countries and, well, the major players actually in land grab are government and large corporations. Well, for a fact, the actual process behind the land grab is not transparent to the public. The government and the corporation are not compelled to, state the actual process or negotiation which took place for deciding a land grab case. So that could really be a problem, especially if it is a contested land or something that should be part of the agrarian reform classified as agricultural area. That could be a huge problem. And sadly, this takes place in different phases. For example, here in the Philippines, we have a lot of land grab cases. And particularly, the main players are almost always the corporations, wherein the acquisition of land is actually conducted by the corporations. Well, the recent one which happened in Cavite is actually won by MTV Corporation in partnership with the SM Development Corporation. Well, they claim to have a legal basis, so okay, we don't have a clear stance on that, but the land involved was actually a good source of marine resources, which, if exhausted, would be a huge waste. So let's think it through. If this is happening around the country, that would be a huge problem. So, well, what else? Need I say more? We're not competitive in the global market. We don't specialize in anything. The first thing we need to improve about our economy is this specialization. We have a lot of workers who don't specialize in anything, and we have a lot of incompetent graduates, unfortunately. So the problem is we actually measure capacity with grades and everything, and the grading system, it's it's not really that reliable. We can produce a lot of incompetent graduates because of this, because we don't actually have an actual practice wherein we measure a student's capacity for working in real life situations or being competitive in the market. That's a huge problem. And third thing is we have a lot of imports. That's one problem. We're killing a lot of local businesses, and well, perhaps we're already killing an entire sector. Because, for example, we're importing a lot of spices and a lot of vegetables, when in fact we are an agricultural country. Doesn't it sound ironic that we're actually importing rice from Japan? Well, like I said earlier, probably we're putting our money on places that there aren't supposed to be that much attention. Well, why are we trying so hard to become industrialized when in fact we have a lot of available lands? All we need to do is utilize them. Let's give people budget, for investing in this kind of business that is actually parallel to our country's built. And let's utilize the resources that we have instead of actually exploiting or exhausting them for the sake of industrialization, which won't be good in the long run. Because we have to take care of the basics first before we actually take it to a next step, which is industrialization. While we're not really that already developed in our agribusiness, then we have to focus on that first. Let's not actually step out of the current realm we have to take care of. We need to feed families. We have to actually address these poverty issues that we are facing right now. Because for a fact, it is easier to take care of families who are poor in rural areas instead of the urban areas. Because, for example, in rural areas, they can actually do something to acquire their own food. We can teach them to plant. We can teach them to fish, to farm. It's less costly compared to actually giving them a capital to invest on industrialized businesses. Or giving them education is good, but can they really compete with all the competent workers present out there who actually had better education? That would be very difficult. And for a fact, experience actually plays a major role compared to grades or what you actually have on paper. That's one of the major problems. Unemployment, poverty, that is. So, for a solution, we can actually start with mercantilism. We need to establish a powerful local standard in our very own country. Let's filter the imports. If you don't actually need them, then don't. And we need to subsidize. Subsidizing would be good. If the government supports the industry, then it can be sold less costly in the markets, the products they make. Like, for example, just local goods like rice and, we have plenty of that, tomatoes. Well, the Philippines is actually really good at generating those. We just need proper attention. Since the government is not paying that much attention on things we really need to improve, it's a waste. So, okay, let's start with mercantilism. Let's filter to reduce competition in the markets with local versus imported goods. Mercantilism. Then subsidizing. And we need to provide extra training. We need to filter out our workers, our graduates. We need to produce competent people who excel in their field where they are supposed to be professionals. That's one. We can make it in a form of a training, examination, or perhaps an aptitude test would be good also. Okay, and what else? Okay, we need to invest more in our agriculture. Let's put aside industrialization. I know it calls for it since this is the 21st century, but you know, agriculture is very important. It is less costly because of the availability, and plus, ordinary or common people in the Philippines have more knowledge on it. And actually, for a fact, it is easier to teach people to become competent in the agribusiness compared to industries, modern industries, that is. So that's it. And maybe we should be more strict when accepting aliens. Like, use some strategies. Let's keep our capital circulating here in the Philippines, and let's be careful with regards to the acceptance of investors, like the hot speculative flow of money that could really put our economy in turmoil. Well, we can really follow some good models like China. They were really good in managing globalization because of that, restricting the flow of hot speculative money, since like what I said earlier, it might cause economic turmoil if it is withdrawn from your economy by the one who actually induced it. And we can also adopt a strategy used by Japan, although it is indirect, but I think it directly affects those who are planning to go there, invest, or work. We can impose a law which actually requires aliens who are here in the Philippines residing for a long period of time. For example, let's say for 5 or 10 years, they must be encouraged to learn our language in order to stay here for for good or for a long time. That would be efficient actually, because some people in the Philippines are less competitive because certain businesses or certain corporations actually require a proficiency in English, which of course it's not really, we can really generalize. I mean, a lot of Filipinos actually excel in English, but some people, although they are very competent and very very inclined in their field, they don't really do that good in English communication. So that's one thing. And we can also, restrict the trading. We can do that. The trading is actually very free around here. Although, hey, it's a good thing that it's actually aggressing problems of people who are, not that inclined in business. Well, for a fact, we have a lot of people actually making piracy their business. But hey, it's less. There's less injury on the part of the producers of the originals. I mean, they're actually still gaining millions, billions. All these people, it's just a sum of money that don't actually compete with that. So we have to address that also. We have to produce a lot of available opportunities for people. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to produce job opportunities through investors that we're encouraging to enter the country. That's not that. We can also provide a separate institution which will provide people with training on how to actually come up with their own business. We can lend them a capital, since this is a fact. Banks are not actually helping people. Bankers, some of them are actually putting more people down because of debt and the interest rate. Damn, interest rates are escalating rapidly. We've experienced that. That doesn't actually help. well, instead of getting your own profit, you're too busy trying to pay your debt. So, if banks can provide the certain service, then so can the government. Because of the revenues we have, actually, we have a lot of revenues. Our funds are really not that bad. It's just that we have a problem with allotment. We really need to have a collective goods in order to address the problem of all people. It might not be absolute, but at least we are trying to improve each and everyone in the Philippines. The entire population must be a beneficiary on the projects we are trying to do. So, okay, let's admit it. Our country is not really that inclined when it comes to the military forces and everything. So perhaps it would be a good idea if we improve our economy first instead of our military. I mean, despite all our efforts, my gosh, this is a fact. Despite all our efforts, if a larger country decides to, wage war against us, there's a little to no chance that we'll win. So why not put food in the mouths of people first before actually putting guns in the hands of our soldiers, right? So those are some of the solutions I've thought of that would probably best suit our country. So I hope that's good, and I hope that people get more opportunities in the future, and let's stop relying on the invisible hand, because invisible hand is invisible. It doesn't take care of everything. It doesn't take care of you. It doesn't take care of me. Well, let's just not rely on something that will transpire on its own. We need to induce success. We need to propel prosperity if we really want to succeed in the international community. We need to become competitive. We need to be competent in the areas that we're engaging into. So that's it. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope to see you soon again.